Okay, so if I could have a resolution to come out of camera, please. This took a little longer than I had suspected. We got quite a bit done, so.
Resolved that as per section 152.4 of the Municipal Act, Council of the Road Municipality of St. Clements does now resume sitting of regular meeting.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Boulanger, second. Councillor Bazarowicz. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, so we are at number 9 on our agenda, which is new and other business, and the first item we have is a request to use municipal land for a wedding ceremony. And Deepak, if you could just fill us in on that one, please.
So this is a wedding. They're giving us considerable notice ahead of time. It's going to be occurring at 11 Park Drive for their wedding ceremony on August the 5th, 2023. And they're looking for permission to have the wedding ceremony on the land that the on basically the lakefront area, in the public area.
Is that Legendary?
No, this is at the lake, at the beach.
Oh,
Yes. And so they've chosen Saturday, August the 5th. That this would only be the wedding ceremony itself, and there would be no tents, alcohol, food, or any kind of vendors there. And their intent is to be setting up chairs and a wedding arch, and then removing them when the ceremony is over. And between setup time and tear down, they're expecting 2 to 3 hours.
It's in the Village Country.
And 150
why not?
guests.
Yeah, that's excellent.
And that's on our sort of, if you see on the map there on the screen, it's right by the beach.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, I'll ask a resolution. Do you have a
Go ahead.
question, Scott?
I'll deal with it when we get to the resolution.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would add some of that resolution as well.
Okay.
A little garbage pickup, that they need it the way.
That's what I was, make sure they clean up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I can move forward with the resolution. Whereas Pierre Burnett and Marie Breck-Vens has made request to utilize municipal property known as 11 Park Drive for a wedding ceremony on August 5th, 2023. Therefore, be it resolved, Council authorize Pierre Burnett and Marie Breck-Vens to host their wedding ceremony on said municipal property. And further be it resolved, Pierre Burnett and Marie Breck-Vens provide proof of insurance coverage or sign basic waiver of liability acknowledging that the municipality is not liable for any damages caused by the use of the land.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second. Councillor Sutherland. Any other questions or comments?
So
Go
those,
ahead, Scott.
So I'm thinking we should add, that they ensure the property is in the same condition as before they entered when they leave, something to that effect.
Sure, we could add in further, be it resolved that the property be returned into the same condition as it was before it was utilized,
And no excess debris or,
and clean up, and all debris and garbage should be cleaned up.
yeah,
it would be nice to mention that word so they know that,
yeah.
Be open.
yeah.
You got all that, Heather?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, have a mover, have a seconder. If there's nothing else, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, the next item, 9.2, is our Board of Revision, which I believe is tomorrow, if I remember
Correct.
correctly.
And as part of that, in order to deal with some issues of making sure we do this properly this time, what we would identify is Shannon as to the secretary, which normally Rose would be, but this year this is Rose's first time doing it. And Brett did it last year. And so what we'll do is have Shannon as the main secretary and assistant secretary Rose. So the resolution, first of all, identifies the same people that were there last year. Jeff McGee, Alan Prue, Bruce McDonald, and Horst Welk sit as the Board of Revision members for the Board of Revision being held on November 9th, 2022. And further be it resolved, Jeff Mitchie be appointed as chair and Shannon Plischke be appointed as secretary of the board, and Rose Asham as assistant secretary.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Strang, second Counselor Sutherland. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, the next item, 9.3, is council code of conduct, and I'm not sure if you want to add anything to that, Deepak?
Just, we're supposed to review the code of conduct annually to ensure effectiveness and how it's meeting, but also as part of that, we have to arrange for the code of conduct training, especially for new council members as per the municipal act. And as part of that, we wanted to make sure that you were aware that is occurring and that the code of conduct meets its requirements. We don't have any particular resolution to this, but wanted to inform you that all council members will have to go through that provincial training within a period of time and then report back to the CAO with your passing. Otherwise, we would be asked for you to not sit at the council chair until it's
Is
done.
that all online again?
Yes, it is.
Probably will be, yes. I don't know if it's there yet.
Yes. Maybe we could all do it here sometime, do it all at once.
No,
No?
you do that on your own at home. Sorry.
And if you have to do it that way, because you get your
You do an individual
certificate.
certificate.
Yeah, like it's not a group thing.
But anybody wishing to come to the council chamber to go through the training during working hours,
Yeah,
we'll make it available for sure.
yeah. Go ahead, Sandra.
I was just gonna ask, has anybody been on, is it a refresher course for us, or is it taking the course all over again?
Heather, have you had any?
It's, everything's up, it's the same.
The same, okay.
So I was gonna email, but I decided to wait till after this meeting, and then I'll send you guys all the,
Link?
Thank you.
yeah.
The link and the timelines.
Okay, good. Okay,
And please, council members, that was one of the things I had to deal with when I first came here. Let's avoid some reminders.
All you need is that little certificate, eh?
Correct.
yeah,
Once I get it, then we can sign
then we're
it.
good to go.
Okay, so next,
9.3, 9.4, the org bylaw.
and so this is a review of the organizational bylaw 17 of 2018, and the organizational bylaw specifically, and this is one of the things we wanted to talk about, was that you're required to appoint the deputy mayor by the first meeting of council, as well as if you're going to make any other appointments by the mayor.
Well, I can tell everybody, and I think I might have mentioned it to some, that I will appoint the deputy mayor and the planning, those sitting on planning today, and the rest I will do next week. But I also wanted to just, there's a couple of things on the list that is on the agenda here. The Winnipeg Metro Region and John Q. Public. I'm going to separate those because if I need a second for one of them, it may not be the same person for both of those entities. Stead Glenmore, I don't believe that they're meeting, haven't heard anything from them, so I'm not going to be appointing anybody to that one. There was a couple more here.
That's the drain thing?
Yeah.
That's
North Red Waterway Maintenance Board no longer exists, and neither does the South Basin Mayors and Reeves. So those are four that there will not be anybody assigned to attend those meetings because they no longer exist. The only other one is the one we talked about this morning. I can't find, Cooks Creek, Devils Creek Watershed. We'll change the name to the proper name of what it is now, whatever that might be. Yeah. So. Okay, so I guess everybody, do you have a resolution for the deputy mayor and that? I know I didn't tell you yet either, so. And I guess I will say that I did speak to all members of council in the last few days, starting last Thursday, and I think I spoke to the last one yesterday. And what I was trying to do for the deputy mayor's position is I was looking to see who is interested. And I think what I may do is I may not leave it for the whole 4 years. I may do 1 year at a time, or I might do 2. It just depends how things go, but for right now, I will be doing the appointment for at least 1 year. I think that's only fair, because if I'm not going to be able to attend some things, I'm going to need a backup. And I would also ask that if I can't go and the deputy mayor can't go, and someone else is asked, I know a lot of these things happen on the weekends, and I know we all need our own time, but I would ask that if you are approached to go to something, if you would really consider being able to go, unless you are away or you have something going on. I know that, you know, there's different circumstances, but I guess to me, if you're just not going to go because you're at home, that to me is not a good reason. So just throwing it out there. So what I have decided for this year is the deputy mayor is going to be Councillor Horbus for 1 year, for sure 1 year, maybe longer. And for planning, I have, of course, myself, Councillor Spicer, and as the alternate, I've put on Councillor Horbus on that one too. So as an alternate, and Sandra knows as an alternate, you sometimes don't get to participate as much as if you were a board member. I think you were alternate when Councillor Boulanger was on. So we'll start with those, and if I need to change, I definitely will. And the others that expressed interest in the deputy mayor chair, I will be looking at that on occasion as we go along. And the others I will have all done next week. Is everybody here next week for the meeting? Yeah?
15th, yeah.
15th, yeah, okay.
15.
Yeah, okay, so I will have the rest of them done for next week.
I missed who was, planning.
Myself,
Yeah,
Councillor Spicer,
okay.
and Councillor Horbus as the alternate. So, and if there's any, I know that I did speak to all of you, but if you've thought about it over the last couple of days, and if there's any committees that you really want to be on, please let me know, because I will be looking at that in the next couple of days, hopefully.
So, do we do the resolution to appoint these individuals for the moment, and then we'll
Do the whole thing?
the whole thing next week?
Yeah, I think so, because then it's on record that they were, because I think next week we'll just probably adopt the schedule. And I don't even think that the deputy mayor is on the schedule.
No.
So, yeah, you may as well do these two and then we'll do it.
Resolved, Dave Horbus be appointed as deputy mayor, and further be it resolved, Mayor Feeblecorn, Councillor Spicer, and Councillor Horbus as alternative for the councillor. Further be it resolved, Mayor Feeblecorn and Councillor Spicer, and Councillor Horbus as the alternative for Red River Planning District 1.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Strang, seconds. Any further discussion, comments? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, I think we are down to,
Procedures,
oh, go down too far. Procedural bylaw. And this is just for review again?
correct.
Okay. If anyone had the opportunity to look at it, are there any things that need to be changed, or are we just gonna have a look at it and bring it back next week, if anything? Or, Mr. Administrator, did you have any changes you wanted?
I didn't have any changes to recommend at this point, I'm just recommending that we did a review.
Okay,
And if council is comfortable with it, if council would like another week, then we can bring it back on 15th. I think it's a fairly straightforward procedures bylaw,
yeah,
and it allows council to make the changes, whether the board or the full council meetings.
okay. So I think we're good. So if you have anything that you'd like to have looked at, just let Deepak know and we can bring it back next week. So 9.6, Manitoba Good Roads Association, that's the life membership form. I had mentioned to Heather that I might get the list of nominees, but looking at the criteria, I'm not sure that who we would have to nominate, if anybody. So I'm gonna open it up and see if there's anybody out there or anybody names that pop up. Deepak, anything you wanna add?
Just, yeah, the major criteria is that they have to have served for at least 4 years on the Manitoba Good Roads Association before they can be nominated as a lifetime member.
Do they have to be still here, like somebody like Nick Gorda, was he ever nominated? Or do you have to be living?
No, you could have somebody that's deceased, but I don't believe that he was ever on the Manitoba Good Roads Board.
Oh, we have to be on the board?
I believe that's what it
In the
says.
past, you had to have served at least for 4 years.
Yeah,
On the board, okay.
yeah. Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
How long has the mayor served on the board?
I've been there for a while. I don't know, honestly, I don't know how long. All I remember is that at that time it was Councillor Jerry Drobit that nominated me to go on the board. I ended up being the vice president, and I'm not sure what's going to happen in the spring because the president is no longer an elected official. He was defeated, so I may be having to move up in that position, or I may pass and let someone else, let them have a vote on who might want to be the new chair for the.
So you don't know how long you've been
I don't know how long
How
it's
long?
been.
Probably more than 4 years.
there? Yeah, would it be, well, how many years would that be when Noah built the ark? How long ago would that be?
It's definitely more than 4 years, I will tell you that,
That's a
because
good
So
job.
we could nominate that.
Yeah, yeah, we can nominate her.
Sure,
up to you.
So are you putting forward a nomination, Councillor Spicer?
sure.
Okay. So.
Was Jerry actually on the board then? Do you know?
He was never, that I can recall, on the board, but he was always on the judges committee, and he was always doing like the judging, and he would
I
go
wasn't
along.
sure about the criteria.
Yeah,
so-
no, it's pretty straightforward being a board member,
Okay.
so.
Ken was on the board for years, was he not?
Yes, he was also, yeah.
A lot of drove ups on that board.
So,
Resolved that Mayor Deborah Fiebelkorn be nominated by the Arm of St. Clements to the lifetime member for the MGRA board.
that's moved by Councillor Bazarowicz, seconded by Councillor Spicer. Any discussion?
I
Here-
think it was moved by Councillor Spicer.
Spicer, and okay, seconded by Councillor Bazarowicz. Call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, 9.7, thank you very much for that, Council. I appreciate it. I'm not so sure that I belong on good roads, but we'll take it at that. So, 9.7, the 2022 holiday hours.
As you know, council, every year we close down in between Christmas and New Year's and get staff to utilize those 2 days or 2.5 days, whatever it works out to, as utilizing their personal holidays. This, of course, is only dependent on if the staff members have the holidays to be able to take. If they don't, they can still choose to come into work. We will be closed on those days, so we do this through a resolution. So we will be looking at being closed from December 26th and then opening again on Tuesday, January the 3rd. So we'll be closed until Monday, January the 2nd. And we've listed out which days are days in lieu, because some of those fall in the weekends and middle of the week, and which days would be then utilized by the staff members if they were to take those days off.
Okay, any questions, comments?
So we do every year, right?
Pretty
Yeah.
much. Go
For
ahead,
clarity,
Councillor
we're
Spicer.
looking at 2 half-days and 1 full day, and then we'll use holiday or
For
event.
2 days, holiday event, correct.
Okay,
And I think it's understood, and I thought I had read it in there somewheres if there's like a blizzard or a snowstorm and, you know, the guys have to be out and the staff in the office to answer the phone, there will be somebody here.
Correct. In case of an emergency or a major weather event,
Yeah.
we would all be at full staff as necessary.
Okay, so Deepak pretty much read it there, so moved by Counselor Corbus, second Counselor Sutherland. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. 9.8, the Half Moon Drive-In, and that's a letter for an event that he's going to be having next year. Go ahead, Deepak, please.
Correct. And again, we've been given considerable notice on this event, and it's by the Half Moon Drive-In, where they are celebrating their 85th anniversary festival, and they're from July 21st to the 22nd, and they're asking for a noise permit extension so that they can discharge fireworks at some time after 11 p.m. on both of those evenings.
85 years for what?
I think they want a 2-hour
And
extension.
2-hour extension past 11.
They've been in place for 85 years.
Well, not in that place.
Not in there,
Yeah, but
yeah.
The
In
Half
the
Moon
law
has been
court
in
area.
Yeah,
existence.
half moon.
The half
The name.
moon. Yeah, the name, but the.
People
Okay,
didn't
any,
register.
any other questions or comments? Do we have a resolution for that, please?
Yes, we do. Whereas the Half Moon Drive-In has made request for a noise extension, which is regulated under bylaw 6 of 2012 for the purposes of the 85th anniversary festival on July 21st through July 22nd of 2023. Therefore, be it resolved that the under section 4B and 4I of the bylaw 6 of 2012 permit the outdoor playing of music and other party-related activities 2 hours past 11 p.m. Discharge fireworks past 11 p.m. at the Half Moon Drive-In, 6E860 Henderson Highway, on July 21st and 22nd, 2023. Further be it resolved, the property owner is responsible for nuisance noise created by invitees, guests, or other persons on the premises in the same manner as the person actually creating the nuisance noise, unless the property owner of the premises establishes that he exercised due diligence and bona fide effort to control and abate such nuisance noise.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, Councillor Strange. Seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, the next item we have is AMM, I believe, and it is the nominations open for vacant board positions.
Correct, Madam Mayor. As you know, after this election, there's been some changes throughout, and there's a considerable number of vacant open positions. Felt it was important in case any council members didn't receive this email to know there are several positions that are open, and if any council members were interested in running for any of those positions.
Okay, I'm going to open it up. Is there any interest from any council members that are here that may want to take a stab at a chair? Not seeing any hands go up.
Here's one.
Sandra,
No.
what she wants to,
There you go.
I have a
she wants to
question.
put a flip-flop.
Go ahead, Sandra.
So, reading this, I was gonna ask you, isn't this where we vote at AMM?
Yes.
But now it looks like it's changed, that we're doing it on Zoom late after?
Well, that's what I
Another
was
date.
just reading that on. I thought it said November the 29th.
Yep.
Actually, it will be
So
conducted
it's not gonna
virtually
happen at the
at the conference.
conference?
And I was more looking at, I guess one of our representatives is no longer an elected official.
Who's that?
That would be the gal Melanie
Melanie
Perrant.
Oh, did she get?
I don't know,
It's
I
the
thought
Eastern
she
District,
was.
yeah, that's why it's open.
Yeah, because Lauren is still.
yeah, Lauren is still there, I know Lauren is still there. But I can't even remember which municipality she was from, because I did have that up. on-
Rainy?
Yeah,
Oh,
yes.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so, any interest here from anybody? Apparently not. Okay, so if you think about it for the week and you decide that you want to throw your hat in the ring, we can always put it forward next week, because I think we have a few days yet to be able to put that forward. I'm in a different, altogether different spot here. Now we are at 9.10 on our agenda, which is the daycare pilot project agreement and the provincial, province and John Q. Public, John Q. built. I will let Deepak go ahead with that.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As you know, that we've had multiple meetings on this, and one of the biggest things is on September 13th, Council had authorized the CAO to work with John Q. Built and John Q. Public and the province of Manitoba to negotiate for a financial assistance agreement. The commitment that's there is that we are providing 2 acres of land and services to that land, as well as a commitment to maintenance of that building over the next 15 years of providing free rent for their daycare providers. So daycare buildings are to be built. We're looking at the lands and just on the south part of 1043 Kittison Road here, where the old public works yard was. And as part of that, we've negotiated a financial assistance agreement. A copy of the financial assistance agreement has been provided for you, as well as an appendix A that's been filled out that gives you a general update on the costs, general costs associated and the value of the land that we're providing as our share for the development of this daycare center. I will note that the financial assistance agreement that was posted online has been updated from today's update, and I've just updated that one on the agenda and removed the older one. There was a minor adjustment on that to cover for JQ Built's requirement for 7% for professional services, which we'll be dealing with at the next resolution. So what we have is prepared a resolution to describe the project and then begin the process for construction of this project, and then start the next step, which would be to go out and do an RFP to look for daycare service providers who would be located in that building.
Okay, any questions or comments? I know that this was discussed. And if there are no further questions at this time, I will ask Deepak to please read the resolution.
Okay, whereas the province of Manitoba is providing a capital funding grant to develop new childcare spaces and new childcare center in partnership with John Q. Public Inc. /JQ Built Inc. and the Arm of St. Clements. And whereas the Arm of St. Clements passed a resolution on September 13, 2022 to provide a minimum of 2 acres of service land for the purpose of operating a childcare center, and authorize the CAO to work with JQ Public Inc., JQ Built Inc., and the province of Manitoba to negotiate a financial assistance agreement and to bring forward the financial assistance agreement for council approval. And whereas on October 21st, 2022, JQ Public Inc. authorized JQ Built Inc. to award a public RFP for the design and construction of 9 prefabricated hybrid daycare facilities in communities as identified by the province's early learning and child care program. And whereas a financial assistance agreement has been negotiated with all 9 communities which require the RM of St. Clements to provide 2 acres of service land to assume and hold ownership of the facility and commit to operations and the maintenance of the facility and grounds, and provide 15 years at 0 rent lease with a licensed and regulated non-profit child care operator. Therefore, be it resolved, the Arm of St. Clements enter into a financial assistance agreement with the province of Manitoba through the Early Learning and Child Care Program for capital funding for construction of a building to develop new 74 child care spaces in a new child care center. And furthermore, be it resolved, the Arm of St. Clements will be adhering to the Early Learning and Child Care conflict of interest policy and guidelines for this capital project. And further be it resolved, the Mayor and CEO will be authorized to sign the financial assistance agreement on behalf of the Arm of St. Clements.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbis, Councillor Bazarowicz, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. And I believe we have another resolution dealing with the daycare.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So as the first part of this was the resolution to receive the financial assistance agreement from the province of Manitoba so that we have the capital funds to be able to build the daycare center on our property. Second part is to work with JQ Built, which is a subsidiary of JQ Public, to be our construction advocate as well as our owner's representative for the construction of the project. And that will be provided at a 7% total cost fee to be as part of the project. And so if you're prepared, I'll read the entire resolution so that I can describe the project more thoroughly. Whereas the province of Manitoba is providing capital funding grant to develop new childcare spaces and new childcare center in partnership with John Q. Public and JQ Built and the Arm of St. Clements. And whereas the Arm of St. Clements passed a resolution on November 8th, enter into a financial assistance agreement with the province of Manitoba. And whereas JQ Built Inc. was established by Board of JQ Public Inc. to develop a replicable process for facilitating the development of community infrastructure with local governments across Manitoba. And whereas on October 21st, 2022, JQ Public Inc. authorized JQ Built Inc. to award a public RFP for the design and construction of 9 prefabricated hybrid daycare facilities in communities as identified in the province's early learning and childcare program. And whereas to reduce risk and ensure the project remains on time and on budget, JQ Built Inc. has developed a full slate of support services and identified a team of experts to facilitate this process with local government, which includes the services of a development owner's representative and a quantity surveyor professional. And whereas JQ Built Inc. has developed a general services agreement to provide the full project and process management services related to the construction of the daycare facility with the accompanying Schedule A and a development fee structure of 7% of the construction cost. Therefore, be it resolved, the Arm of St. Clements enter into a general service agreement with JQ Built Inc. at a charge of 7% of the construction costs for full project and process management services. And furthermore, be it resolved, the mayors and reeds and CAO be authorized to sign the general service agreement on behalf of the Arm of St. Clements. I should note, as part of this, if you notice that the resolution says that the Arm of St. Clements entered into a general service agreement at the charge of 7%. The financial assistance agreement has identified that 7% will be coming out of the provincial financial assistance to the Arm of St. Clements.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second. Councillor Sutherland. Any questions or comments? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, I believe we have one more to deal with, 9.12, the daycare pilot project design build construction agreement.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As part of providing the provincial grant to develop the new child care spaces in the 9 municipalities, JQ Built was established, and the Arm of St. Clements passed a resolution to go out and work on this. And the important part on this entire financial assistance agreement has been described in the decision paper here is that in order to move forward, JQ Built had selected the contractor to deliver this, but the contractor, as a design build contractor, has identified the CCDC 14, an industry standard design build construction contract. It's from the Canadian Construction Documents Committee for a predetermined stipulated or fixed price for each daycare facility. So, and in order to reduce the risk of the Arm of St. Clements, it is recommended that the council authorize JQ Built Inc. to enter into this CCDC 14 of 2013 contract with Peridium Projects Limited on behalf of the RMSA clients. Now, we would still be involved in the negotiations and determining the components of the contract, but JQ Built will sign in order to reduce the risk to the RMs.
Okay, thank you for that. Can I have a mover, please?
Oh, hang on, Madam Mayor, I'll read the resolution. That
Oh,
was the decision paper on that.
oh, sorry, I thought you were reading the resolution, that's what I am.
It's very close to the resolution. Okay. So, whereas the province of Manitoba provided capital funding grant to develop a new childcare spaces and the new childcare centers in partnership with JQ Public Inc., JQ Built Inc., and the RMSA Commence. And whereas the RMSA Commence passed a resolution on November 8th, 2022, to enter into a general service agreement with JQ Built Inc., and whereas on October 21st, 2022, JQ Built Public Inc. authorized JQ Built to award a public RFP for the design and construction of 9 prefabricated hybrid daycare facilities in communities as identified by the province's Early Learning and Child Care Program, and whereas JQ Built Inc. on behalf of JQ Public Inc. negotiated and awarded to Peridium Projects Limited as a design-build contractor, and whereas to reduce the risk and ensure the project remains on time and on budget, JQ Built has developed a full slate of support services identified in the General Services Agreement and the need for a design-build construction contract. And whereas Peridium Projects Limited has identified CCDC 14 of 2013 and Industry Standard Design-Build Construction Contract from Canadian Construction Documents Committee for predetermined stipulated or fixed price for each daycare facility. Therefore, be it resolved, the RMSA Commence authorize JQ Built Inc. to enter into the CCDC 14 of 2013 contract with Peridium Projects Limited on behalf of the RMSA Commence. And furthermore, be it resolved, the Executive Director and Board Chair of JQ Public Inc. be authorized to execute the CCDC 14 of 2013 contract on behalf of the RMSA Commence.
Okay, thank you for that, Deepak. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Boulanger, Councillor Strang, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the request for a stop sign 9.13, a request for a stop sign at an uncontrolled intersection.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We received a concern regarding Road 99 North and William Road being in an uncontrolled intersection. Our bylaw officer attended the site, and there's an attached letter from for council. If you'd like me to go over it. Basically, the bylaw officer attended to the site, took a look at it, and William Road runs north and south. At the southern point of William, where the road bends towards Path 500, there is no stop sign. This does raise safety concerns. We've had discussions with our own Public Works Department as well, and for the residents who live on Road 99 North as they drive east on Path 500. So therefore, the recommendation is council authorize the installation of a one-stop at the intersection of William Road and Road 99 in the location identified in the attached letter.
Okay,
So we have a resolution to that.
Yeah, any questions before the resolution's read? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So I know they talk about some challenges here with traffic. Just a clarification question. By the map, it looks like Road 99 North is like a dead end, is that?
Is,
It
Yes.
is. But there's from where they're talking to the dead end, there's 1, 2, probably about 5 homes.
Okay.
That's, is that where, that's Shane Thomas's road, eh? Where he's doing
No.
that new
Well, this is at the
subdivision?
lake. This is at the lake
Lakes
end.
500.
That's where Craigie's are, at the end there.
Okay.
Like, I'm not against it, it just seems like
You
for a
wanna just-
dead end road, there must be a fair amount of
It's,
traffic going on
well, it's the stop sign would go on William Road, right?
there. Yeah.
Yeah. they're
Just those
concerned that people coming down William Road and there's anybody coming from the lake, those few houses. I see what you mean, but I guess, no, it wouldn't hurt to have a stop sign there.
No, it's fine.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's lots
because-
of places out in the country here in the crossroads where there is no stop signs, you just yield. There's not even a yield sign, you just,
Yeah.
you have to watch, but actually those ones out there are needed more than that one, but
Yeah, you're supposed to yield to your right, isn't that? what it
yeah, but
is?
it's, well, there has been one person killed over the years out there, but only one. It's
Well,
not
and I
too many.
think too, what happens here,
Yeah,
I think too, what happens here, and I'm only assuming, is people coming from William Road to turn onto 99, they don't bother even slowing down, they just come
Oh,
around
no.
the corner and keep going, so I think that's what
Okay.
the problem is.
No, I just,
yeah, that's what it's
just got
concerned.
looking at the map and
Yeah,
found it to be interesting.
okay, we have a resolution there.
Resolved, council authorize the installation of one stop sign at the intersection of William Road and Road 99 North.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbers, Councillor Bazarowicz seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, 9.14, that's the Selkirk District Community Foundation, and it's a letter, I guess, setting out the Manitoba Giving Challenge and some of the information there. So Deepak, do you have anything that you wanted to add?
They're just asking for support because for every $5 they raise, they become $7 for the support from the province of Manitoba and the Olympic Foundation.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Did we not put some money into this? I'm not sure it was last year, but recently?
Well, we do have a partnership share, but I don't know what
But
that is.
I thought we did it with just this giving challenge too, we did it was like $500 or something.
I think it was $500 last year to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if council wishes, we could do it as $500 again.
Yeah,
Mhm.
good.
Okay. So the resolution can be,
I have it for 3, so I'll change it to 5.
yep. It's okay, I'll read it as 5.
Yeah.
It's not that. If I can remember where I'm at. Thank you. Resolve, the Arm of St. Clements donates $500 to Selkirk District Foundation's endowment Manitoba Giving Challenge.
It's 300.
I read it as 500 because that's what
That's what we
council
said.
It
wanted.
might need the
Yeah, so
200
we'll
to buy
change
a new
that.
TV.
My apologies.
We'll change it to 5, we'll change this, it's just that Heather didn't have enough
Yeah,
time
that's
to change.
Someone's failed.
Okay, it's moved by Councillor Spicer, second.
700.
Councillor Boulanger, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, we are down to 9.15, the St. Hubertus Gun Club. And if you want to go through that one for us, please, Deepak.
Sure, Madam Mayor, this one will be relatively quick. We've had discussions on this gun club already in the past. We've gone through the hours of operation and so forth, and this is just formalizing their formal request that they need to do on a yearly basis to come back and identify. And so this is for the 2023, where they're only allowed to shoot for 6 days a week. And this is the hours of operation as well as if they're doing any special events, then for those special events to be identified, and which days do they take away from those 7 days to go back to 6 days a week. And so, as you can see, they've given us the information. They provided us which days as an example that they have a special event happening on Sunday, June the 25th, and there's another one that they're planning on Sunday, August the 20th, as well as they've got some Saturday events. They're letting us know about all their special events, some within their own timelines, and some that they need to then balance off by, if they do it on a Sunday, then they're closed on a Saturday.
Any questions or comments on those? Go ahead, Councillor Corbis and then Councillor Spicer.
So I was reading this over and this is well done. I don't know who did this. I guess they did it, they put it together. Did you help them in it or?
Me and Tyler worked with them.
Yeah, so good job. So before they were allowed 2 days a year, was it? Originally, is that what it was supposed to be?
Special events, special events.
Special events, and now they're up to 4, right?
They've actually reduced it down to 2 Sunday events.
Yes, this year coming up.
Oh, they're back to 2? I
They're
thought
back
it
to
said
2.
4. in
That's
there.
it for.
I
Yeah.
updated this yesterday, I
Okay.
sent you guys a new one.
Oh,
They reduced
okay.
it.
Okay, so it is only 2.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, good. That was my concern. I thought that, when I read it the other day, it said 4. And that was my, cause, you know, whatever, I'm okay, yeah, sure.
I'm good, I just wanted to clarify that it was 2.
The 2, okay.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
I guess one of the things that from reading on the last one too with the 4, but as long as when they're getting the Sunday, that they're shutting down on the Saturday, because that's one of the concerns with the residents there, that on the weekends, when they have their time off from their work, that they can't sit outside and enjoy the short summer that we have too. So as long as they're shutting down on the Saturday, to me it looked like on the last one, I don't know where I was reading it, but it looked like they choose the day that they shut down, and it looked like to be during a
Yeah.
weekday.
I read that too. They
Yeah.
chose the day.
Yeah.
So now you're saying if it's a Sunday, it's a Saturday shutdown then?
Usually
Yeah.
our events are local days.
Yeah. But
People come up from the states, they come from all over the province.
yeah. No, what I was reading.
On those 2 events, they've identified, if we go back to the administrative report, if you take a look at the list of events and the days that were provided,
Yeah, they're closed on the Saturdays.
Yeah, that's
they're
it.
closed on the Saturday. So on Sunday, June 25th, they're closed on Saturday, June 24th. And then on Sunday, August 20th, they're closed on Saturday, August 19th. So that's their intent.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
And that's fair. I mean, as Councillor Strang said, that was the concerns that I got even prior to the election from some people up there was they're off on weekends and that's why they wanted a Sunday. So if they're gonna change a Sunday for a Saturday, that's good news. That's a weekend.
I think that letter that was done was really well done. It was really fair. I thought they were compromising. It was
just refresh.
Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland, and then Councillor Strang.
Yeah, for the next year, this is for 23. I guess I'll speak to it then, long as my thoughts are to speaking with people at just Sundays, they can make their plans so that it doesn't include a Sunday. That's what I'd like to see happen. No events on Sunday, period. This is for next year coming up, this year coming up, but just like to throw that in there, I'll mention it when it comes up.
Well, I think part of the thing is, and not that I disagree, but I think part of the thing is if they're having a special event and they're not planning it, let's say it's somebody else who's planning a shoot, one of the other gun clubs, whether it be from the States or another province, perhaps that's part of the reason why they want to do it on a Sunday. It's not specifically their event.
I understand, but they can let these other people know that if they're gonna plan an event, it's gonna have to be on a Friday or Saturday, a 2-day event or whatever, Monday, Tuesday, but I just feel that it should be nothing there Sunday. It's speaking with the people that are, it wasn't a big request. Can we not have one day where they can't shoot consistent? So I know it's only 2 days that Sunday, but that's just my comments on it.
Thank you for that. Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
Maybe the residents or the properties that are around in the surrounding area, maybe the gun club should also just send out some communication to them to say these are the days that we
We
chose.
post it. It's always posted because they come here, we post it.
Who posts
Who
that?
posts
We
it?
do. Do we not?
BRN, you mean post it?
Do we post?
I
No.
don't think so.
No, no, it's like.
When they have.
But you have to think
Yeah,
not
this is
everybody's
available
on,
publicly, yes.
not everybody's on the internet. I just think out with them around in the area, because we have allowed subdivisions in the area, we've allowed people to build. So, I just think out of common courtesy, both is just to have communication going between the both of them, so those residents know that that's the weekend that will be happening.
Yeah, and that's probably a good idea, that if we do that, then at least the residents in the area know that on this weekend, as you say, there will be shooting going on the Sunday.
Yeah, so they aren't having a wedding, because so many people are having events going on in their yards.
The particular person who came to see us here from that surrounding area, will he be getting a copy of this, Evan? No?
We will send to him,
Yeah.
yeah, Deepak.
We can.
Okay, good, thanks. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure where we're at.
Okay, I'll read the
Thank
resolution.
you.
So whereas a request was made by St. Hubert's Game and Fish Association to renew the extension of the Monday and Thursday shooting hours, which had been approved by council on October 27, 2022 by resolution 2020-328. Therefore be it resolved, council authorize the renewal of the extension of the shooting hours to Monday from 12 to 6 p.m., Tuesday 2 to 9 p.m., Wednesday 2 to 9 p.m., Thursday 2 to 9 p.m., Friday 10 to 6 p.m., Saturday 10 to 6 p.m., no shooting outside of special events on Sunday. And further be it resolved, St. Hubert's Game and Fish Association should be allocated 2 Sunday special events to be held on Sunday, June 25th, 2023, and Sunday, August 20th, 2023. And further be it resolved, during the weeks that a Sunday event is being held, the association must close Saturday of that week. And further be it resolved, St. Hubert's Game and Fish Association be authorized to extend their operating hours from 9 a.m. on Friday, August 24th, 2023, to host World Peace and Fire Games. And further be it resolved, the extension of Monday to Thursday hour of operation and hosting of Sunday special events be reviewed with council on an annual basis.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Horvath seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, and I believe this is the last item under this section of our agenda, 9.16. It's a development agreement.
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is a development agreement on St. Peter's and Myers Drive. The developer has signed there, and this is to get confirmation for the mayor and the CAO to sign that development agreement.
Okay. If you want to read the resolution, please.
Resolve the development agreement dated November 8th, 2022 between the Arm of St. Clements and 2381720 Manitoba Limited be accepted, and the mayor and CEO be authorized to sign and seal same.
Thank you for that. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Bazarowicz seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, we're moving on to our accounts for this month, and the first one we have is our paid list of accounts, or closed list of accounts, and Deepak, if you could please read the resolution.
Resolved, council approve the November 8th, 2022 list of accounts, check numbers 22002500 to 22002693 in the amount of $1,460,911.94 for payment.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, second. Councillor Horvath, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, next we have, just kind of screwed something up here, so let's see if I can get in. Oh, there we go. Okay, so the next item we have is a grant for the East Beaches Heritage Wing.
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is an additional $2,000 on top of their regular grants, which is to match funding for a grant that they've applied for with the province of Manitoba, which is to do some work on the Heritage Wing itself and some of the displays that are in there.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So this is over and above their operating grant?
Correct, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, if you have, oh, go
I
ahead.
also sent Brenna, other grants from ITA that lots of times it just sits there and nobody takes up on it. I don't know if that's something else that she
She will be probably looking at it, yes, I saw the email.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, if we have a resolution for this one, please put it forward.
Resolve East Beaches Heritage Wing will have the assistance from the Arma St. Clements of up to $2,000 upon the approval of the 2022 Interlake Tourism Association grant application.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, second Councillor Spicer. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. And I believe we had one more, the Walter White School.
Madam Mayor, Walter White School is, what they're looking for is a request to have, for a Christmas bingo on November the 30th, and at a silent auction, and what they're looking for is support to be able to either do through some prizes or donation of funds to be able to buy those prizes.
Okay, I think there was something put forward, but was it a monetary donation or was it some gifts? I can't remember what it said.
They've asked for either gifts or monetary to be able to buy gifts.
Okay,
So is this in the past, or is this something new?
This is something
this
new.
might be something new.
This is for kids, right? Like, we
Yep.
still have the games and.
No, this is for silent, well, yeah, it is for kids,
Well, we
for
have
the
the
school.
St. Clements game.
We've got those game boards and so
Yeah.
forth, we could
Yeah,
donate some of those
so-
things.
Yeah.
Council authorizes that, and we'll take a look at
Mhm.
some of the prizes and things that we have for the, like drinking mugs and those kinds of things that could be put into.
Perfect.
Maybe some spare winter jackets.
Okay, so we do have a resolution, so if you want to bring it forward.
Resolve council approve the following 22 requested grant request for Walter White School, 22 prizes for the silent auction.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Spicer, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried.
Okay.
Okay, so we are, I think, now at, there are no bylaws, so communication for information. Is there anything there that's jumping out at anybody or that you wanted to discuss?
Just to let all of council know that there was a communication in here that the Arma St. Clements is the recipient of the municipal
Mitigation.
mitigation preparedness program. If you may recall, a resolution was put forward for the CAO to request for that, we had made the request to buy a dozer with our damage deposit that would be required for the disaster financial assistance, which translated to about $97,000. So now we can put that towards a dozer purchase for 2023 because our dozer had broken down last year.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Dave, did you have your hand up? I thought you did. Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Maybe I was sleeping through part of this. When I was reading my agenda, there was the resident in the beaches, was Lakeshore Heights, had wanted to purchase some property behind their place. They had cleared the
That's
land.
in camera.
It's
That's
an
in
in-camera
camera.
discussion.
Oh, I guess I'll miss that. I gotta go right away. Sorry. I knew I saw
We're going
something.
into, we could go into in-camera right away and then just finish off with council reports.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that.
There hasn't been much for council reports since the last one, because we were in the middle of elections.
Yeah.
I had a long report, but I could read it.
Okay, what we're gonna do is, okay, the only one that I was gonna mention is we had submitted David Karen's name for Citizen of the Year. He was not the successful recipient of that, so the information was on the agenda here.
Who else?
Someone from Selkirk?
Yeah, Milt Headwell. And he was with the rowing,
Canoe. Yeah,
canoe rowing,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so is there anything else that anybody wanted to talk about? Okay, so let's move into camera, because if Councillor Sutherland has to go, we can do that, a couple of items, and then we'll do our committee reports at the end.
Resolved, council recess the regular meeting in camera to discuss legal and personnel issues, and further be it resolved that all matters discussed will remain confidential as per section 83(1)(d) of the Municipal Act.
Can I have a move, please? Councillor Strang, second Councillor Corbus. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, so we're going to look at 15.1, a resident concern request, oh no, not wrong one.
15.2.
Request to purchase public reserve, 15.2.
And so this one, I felt it was probably worthwhile first having a discussion in camera before we ever declare, because what's happening here